Local Government Staff Association Ghana Clocksack failed to turn up for a meeting call to address their concerns in the wake of their strike action to demand better salaries. Now, details as the action is declared by the National Labour Commission as not well constituted. What does that mean? We'll tell you. Also coming up here, Fin.Ministry insists there has been value for money audit after telling the House of Parliament 339 million cedis have so far been released for the National Cathedral project. Again, Civil Society Organizations Alliance reiterate a strong warning against politicization of illegal mining. Signals they will be forced to call out any political party or politician seeking to use that avenue to garner votes. There's more as the Alliance also indicates that Ghana will lose out in the energy sector if political parties fail to commit their manifestos to the energy sector. Now, Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Abinawose Asare, has told Parliament that government conducted a value for money audit in releasing funds for the stalled National Cathedral project. According to the minister, who was responding to questions, 339 million Ghana cedis has been released for the project, which is still at the foundation level and has stalled for months. Watch this.
Audits done on the project in 2021 by Casely Doyumo Group. Also, a statutory audit of the National Cathedral of Ghana accounts by Deloitte Ghana was started in July 2023 and is ongoing. The auditors had concluded the audit of the 18-month account ended 31st December 2020. Meanwhile, preparations are in place for the auditors to complete the remaining accounts for the periods ended 31st December 2021, 2022, and 2023. I remember that from the onset, the Ministry of Finance mentioned that our contribution to the National Cathedral will be the land and some seed money, and this was in the budget, previous year's budget. I can't state exactly which year, but clearly it was in the budget that we were going to give some seed fund and the land as our contribution to that. So, Mr. Speaker, that is what I can say to that. But clearly, we have records to show how much we have paid. And so it is not something that is not transparent enough. We all know how much we have paid.
Meanwhile, Abinawose Asare has also told the House government released in excess of 40 million cedis to NADMO to deal with the floods in the country in 2023. She also said an additional 30 million to procure disaster relief items to support persons affected by floods were also released.
2023 released a total amount of 40.75 million Ghana cedis to NADMO to respond to disaster issues. The release was done on the 14th of September 2023. Further to the above, Ministry of Finance also approved 30 million commencement warrants on 27th November 2023 to NADMO to procure disaster relief items to support persons affected by the recent disasters across the country. Mr. Speaker, the various amounts I know have been captured in the votes and order paper for today, but the total is 42.835 million 200 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, it is our candid view that the respective ministries, departments, and agencies, that's the MMDAs, also propose policy measures that will support persons whose livelihoods have been affected by the recent floods. These measures will also address future preventive actions that will mitigate any future occurrence.
It will be recalled that at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the president announced himself and his government officials will donate the whole or part of their salaries towards the fight against the pandemic. The ministry says 1.78 million cedis were realized from those donations, which went into the fight against COVID-19.
Apart from the Honorable Minister, the former Minister for Finance, Honorable Kenufuriata, whose salary has already been fully committed to the Ghana Institute of Linguistics, Literacy and Bible Translation, Gilbert. The office holders, including His Excellency the President and the Vice President, had related deductions between April and June of 2020, amounting to 1,781,894 Ghana cedis 38 pesos. And it is shown below that in April 2020, 81 office holders contributed 637,998 Ghana cedis 77 pesos. And this was on 22nd of June 2020. And May 2020, 82 office holders contributed 638,098 Ghana cedis 77 pesos. And in June 2020, 64 office holders contributed 505,796,084 Ghana cedis. And so totaling the 1.7 million I mentioned.
Let's still stay in the Parliament House there, because Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has strongly urged Trade and Industry Minister Katie Hammond to withdraw his controversial LI seeking to regulate price of cement. Now, the proposed LI had been opposed by the NDC MPs, which leadership surprisingly softened its stance, allowing it to be laid, drawing criticisms from some backbenchers. Today, more NDC MPs raised concerns about the LI, prompting the advice of the Speaker. There's more in the following report.
This controversial legislative instrument has been dividing public opinion, and in Parliament in particular. The NDC had vowed to do all they could to block the laying of the instrument. But after some concessions from the sponsoring minister, the minority softened their stance and allowed it to be laid. But a day later, former minority leader Haruna Idrisu insists the LI may be illegal.
But I'm minded to test this matter in the Supreme Court. The Constitution in Article 11 provides that before a regulation, there must be dependence on a parent act. The Speaker, Section 80 uses the word sale and advertising. This is pricing. Do they have a mandate to regulate based on 80? That's constitutional. The Ghana Standards Authority, Mr. Speaker, I've had the privilege to be Minister for Trade and Industry, is an institution to regulate standards, not pricing.
But Majority Leader Alexander Fenyo-Markin disagreed.
Let me say that the argument by Honorable Haruna Idrisu to the effect that this instrument has no relationship with the Parent Act, Mr. Speaker, I beg of him, I would want him to revisit the law.
Chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, Dr. Dominic Ayene, also claimed the LI was illegal, but explained why he allowed it to be laid.
I was the one who said, if you look at the Ghana Standards Authority Act, Act 1078, under Section 80, the minister has power to make regulations to govern certain aspects of the operations of the Standards Authority. Now, the core mandate of the Standards Authority is in respect of standards or the quality of goods that are produced or manufactured in Ghana, not with respect to the pricing of those goods. But my practice is always to rely on the Attorney General for a final say on what they have advised government. And so I asked the Attorney General what their position was. And they said their opinion was that Section 80 provides a statutory basis. I told them I disagree with it.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin is now urging the minister, Katie Hammond, to withdraw this LI.
I will advise, I'm not directing, I will advise that the sponsors of the instrument should take a second look at it. And if possible, withdraw and capture it in the appropriate language to come within the statutory limits that we have. It's just an advice. It's not a directive.
It is not clear if the minister will heed to this advice from the speaker, but the clock is ticking for this LI to mature into law in 21 sitting days if the House is unable to get 183 MPs to vote to annul the instrument. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Well, let's return to our earlier story on government's pronouncement on the National Cathedral. You know, this is the first time we've had government give exactly how much has been released to support the project. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is MP for North Tonwe, and he has been an avid campaigner against what he terms as corrupt practices related to this construction. He joins me now via phone. I'm grateful to you for joining. The government says it was exonerated for wrongdoing in the National Cathedral construction and that there was transparency. Is this not enough?
Well, good evening. That is certainly a big joke. The minister's own responses to our follow-up question exposed government very clearly, and it was a very terrible outing for the government. When I asked the Honorable Minister if they had PPA approval, if they went through the procurement process in engaging the contractor, Ribadi, before they made those unconstitutional payments. Because remember that Parliament did not approve the payments that they made, the $58.1 million. Her response was that she will have to go back to the ministry and check whether they had PPA approval before payments were made. Very shocking response. I mean, the payment has been made already, $58.1 million, at the time, 339 million Ghana cedis. You are now going to check if the PPA approved. Well, the news I have for the minister, as I told her in Parliament, is that I raised an RTI request to the Public Procurement Authority on the 4th of July 2022. They responded on the 5th of July 2022 that they have granted no approval. That whole transaction is not in their record. Can you believe that? Then the Honorable Minister also made reference to some value for money audit. We were expecting her to bring a copy of that audit to the House. She did not do that. So I would treat the claim that some value for money audit has given them a clean bill of health. I'll treat that with contempt because we haven't seen that document. Then she also made reference to ongoing audit. Look, this is the only project. This project started sometime in 2018. Since 2018, they claim that they are still auditing. They have not concluded their audit. I mean, in July last year, the National Cathedral Secretariat issued a statement that they were going to conduct an audit and that they will make the report public. It's been a year. And what about all the previous years?
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Under our law, when you have used public funds, your accounts must be audited. And you must bring those audited accounts to Parliament within 6 months of the ensuing year, of the following year. That has not been done.
Okay, so going forward, what will an NDC government do to this project? I mean, we've sunk some monies into it already. What will happen?
So, first of all, we must retrieve our funds. As I speak to you, there's a gentleman called Carrie Summers who is chilling off in the United States of America with $6 million. Then we have David Ajay, who has over $28 million. I mean, share inflationary pricing. So there are retrievals that can be done. You know, if these persons who, at least on paper, are the ones who have been given the monies, if they didn't receive the monies or they didn't receive those quantums, they should tell us. That is why we insist that there ought to be a committee of inquiry, a probe. Just having one question in Parliament on the cost of the project does not resolve all the myriad of issues. Look, this National Cathedral scandal, it involves demolitions, lack of compensation, procurement breaches, unconstitutional conduct, double identity, conflict of interest. I mean, there are gamut of issues.
Okay, all right.
And only a detailed probe, a comprehensive probe, can resolve these matters once and for all and help retrieve monies that have been sunk into this project, which has now become the world's most expensive pit. That's the only way forward.
All right. I'm grateful to you for joining us, Samuel Okudzu, today. He's MP for North Town. Still here on Joy News Prime. The Civil Society Organizations Alliance has reiterated a strong warning to politicians to refrain from politicizing illegal mining activities in the country ahead of the 2024 general election. The Alliance has observed a growing trend of politicians seeking to garner vote from illegal miners by making comments that suggest support for their activities. Dr. Steve Mantel, convener of the Alliance, says such comments are thwarting the fight against the menace and must be curbed. He, however, stated that they will call out any politician who engages in this behavior.
It's worrying. And at the engagement last week, both parties, the majority, the ruling party and the largest opposition party, agreed that we do not have to play politics with illegal mining in this country because of the security threat it poses to all of us. They believe that by raising the issues, civil society raising the issues, we'll be able to take away the politics from the policy decisions that need to be taken to address the menace of illegal mining. So they've called on us to call out any political party that plays politics with attempts by government to deal with illegal mining. And we are ready to do this.
Is it the case that they are not aware that they themselves are even making comments to that effect? I just cited a recent publication on that.
They are very much aware, but they think that they need an independent arbiter who ensure that each party keeps faith with the non-politicization of the illegal mining menace.
In that direction, what are the civil society organizations going to do to ensure that you keep them in check, not to repeat such commentaries?
Yeah, so we are going to call out parties that make reckless statements in order to gain political advantage over the other in terms of garnering votes in the lead up to the 2024 elections.
And what have been the responses from these Galamsey areas? Do you think that, per your findings, these Galamseyers are somehow inspired to do more because of some of these commentaries?
We haven't gauged the reactions of the Galamseyers themselves because, as I speak, we met just last week and we haven't actually sampled any opinion or reactions. But going forward, I think it's something we must do. But in our routine conversations with the Galamseyers, the issue of financing is something that comes up time and again. I think the MPP has responded initially by pledging that they will set up a minerals development bank to deal with the requirement of financial intermediation in the work of small-scale miners. This, I think, is a good idea, except that we do not believe that you need to set up a whole new bank to achieve the objective of facilitating asset to credit for small-scale miners. We could do that through the National Development Bank or through the National Investment Bank or through any commercial bank. All we need to do is to have the rules around it and get those financial institutions to support the effort. Otherwise, we will be creating unnecessary nomenclature that will sap up some of the money that could go to support small-scale mining.
Well, let's get some reactions to this. Joining us now is Haruna Mohammed. He's Deputy General Secretary of the governing NPP. Haruna, I'm grateful to you for joining. Now, this is a call on you to ensure that you don't politicize Galamsey. What's your reaction?
For giving me this opportunity to contribute to this very important call by the civil society. I see this call as important because Galamsey has become an activity that is endangering the lives of the citizens of this country. And as a responsible political party who have initiated several rules and then also other initiatives to help curb this particular menace, I will support this particular call. You would recall that prior to the 2020 elections, one of the officers, that is a deputy communications officer of the NDC, Kukubahin, whilst the MPP was fighting Galamsey and the president pledging and putting his presidency on line in respect to the fight against Galamsey, that we should be able to fight it to its conclusive end. They were in the bush campaigning seriously for Galamsey communities to vote for the NDC.
But Haruna, how are you as a party also ensuring that your members do not do same in those quote bush areas that you're referring to?
That is why I am saying, I'm explaining because you know that MPP has always been very responsible when it comes to some of these activities. And that is why I began by applauding the civil society. But I believe that the call now is late and better late than never.
Okay.
It is good that all of us will have to look at it. But I'm only citing an example of parties that approbate and reprobate. Okay. And that is why I am telling you that the NDC clearly might not be able to agree to their own terms because we lost miserably in the Galamsey, in the mining communities because of our fight against Galamsey. It's on record. If you check the 2020 results. So we are pledging ourselves and we are making sure that the initiatives that the flag bearer of the new patriotic party, in terms of how we are going to harness and then be able to work through to make sure that the small-scale mining is put on its right footing based on the laws that is provided for by Parliament under this particular government for Akufo-Addo's mindset to make sure that the small-scale mining is put on the right footing and it becomes a very good business for the young people of this country.
Haruna, I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in now the Deputy National Organizer of the NDC, Elikem Kotoko, who is also joining us via Zoom. Elikem, I'm grateful to you. Is it something you've discussed as a party, not to politicize issues of Galamsey?
So much, Bruce. Good evening to your viewers and the panelists, especially to Dr. Steve Mantel. Kudos for the great work you are doing, Doc. Bruce, we need to confront this canker with facts. Do you recall names such as Professor Frimpong Boateng, Charles Bissell, Echo AEC, and recently Ernest Frimpong, the parliamentary candidate of the NPP in Amenfi East, making some very reckless and unwise statements to the extent that he had the backing of the regional minister saying that they have even halted Operation Galamstop, they have halted Operation what have you, and therefore they were giving the miners the free will to go into mining. And if anybody actually confronts them, they should attack them. Less than 24 hours after that, a military officer was brutally attacked. My brother should bow his head in shame if he wants to immediately begin commentary by trying to rope in the NDC. You are in government and you should be telling us deliberate steps you have taken. And I want to enumerate a few of those which the NDC have actually made mention of. The number one being regulation, to ensure that when there is proper regulation, these people can be engaged and taught well on how to be engaged in responsible mining. We also need to stop the militarization of the whole process. Tell you truth, some of our own friends are even in the military, and they have told us how they have become almost like a compromised institution where they go chasing after these people who are engaged in illegal mining. And have they ever brought any gold to us as what they have seized from those sites? No. Where does it go?
So Elikem, I want to find out from you whether there is that commitment to ensure that your members do not politicize the issue of Galamsey.
There is the commitment on the side of the NDC. That is why you would want to ask yourself, and even our cherished viewers, including Haruna himself, that had President Akufo-Addo not put his presidency on the line as he claimed to fight Galamsey, then you can imagine what a mess it would have been, because already we are in a deep hole in terms of the fight against Galamsey. Politicizing this battle is what has brought us where we are today. And that is why I had to mention to you the likes of ECOEC, Charles Bissell, Professor Frimpong Boateng, etc. People in government are directly benefiting from these, and they are pretending when they come into public, they are pretending and making it look like they have no knowledge, they are fighting it, etc. What happens to the millions, the millions of dollars we spent on the drones to fight Galamsey. We have not seen anything. I can see some videos, some footages. See the destruction being caused. Does it tell you and our viewers there's any battle against Galamsey?
Elikem, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to you for joining. But let me bring in now Dr. Steve Mantea. He is convener for the CSOs Alliance. Doc, you've listened to the political parties. Are you satisfied?
Very satisfied. Satisfied that they all see the problem from a common perspective. That, look, illegal mining is not something that we need to play politics with. It's a common threat that faces all of us, especially given the fact that because of weak regulatory compliance and weak enforcement, it is possible, very possible, for terrorist groups like Boko Haram to set camp in Ghana, produce gold to finance their destabilization activities in the West African sub-region. So it's a common threat that faces all of us. And it is important that we take the needed steps to deal with illegal mining. And that could be, for me, moving away from the use of brute force to deal with it, and moving, as Elikem Kotoko said, providing incentives for people to want to regulate and formalize their activities so that we are better able to check them.
Okay. All right, Doc, I'm grateful to you for the insight tonight here on the Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Of Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOCSAG, failed to show up for a meeting called for to address their concerns in the wake of their latest strike action. Executive Secretary for the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah, says this action was preempted by an earlier letter brought to the Commission in which CLOCSAG was challenging the composition of that particular commission. The NLC says the strike was not properly constituted and must therefore be called off. More of that shortly, but first, the strike by CLOCSAG has already started to bite hard as essential public services ground to a halt. They are protesting the non-implementation of a new salary structure agreed with government. Here is a report by Sweetie Abochi on how the strike is impacting government business here in the capital, Accra.
Yesterday announced that they would embark on an industrial action. They say that as of 2022, a memorandum of understanding was reached for a new salary structure to be implemented from the 1st of January 2023. A year and a half down the line, that new salary structure has not been implemented, hence the need to embark on the strike. And true to their words, this morning we are here at the offices, and I count only 2 security personnel guarding the place, but nobody is here. There's no staff here. Their gates and some vehicles have been branded with red cloth, signifying the industrial action, but nobody and no activity is ongoing. In fact, you can walk right into the reception area of this building and you won't meet a soul. And so, indeed, GLOSAC is on strike. Now, mind you that this is a trade union that serves as a mouthpiece for civil service and local government staff and other establishments. And when they are on strike, it's a big deal because we're talking about local government and we're talking about civil servants. And so as you can see here, there's nobody in the building. I counted just about 2-3 security personnel who say they came because they don't want to abandon the place. I also saw one gentleman who says he'll speak to us off record, and he explains that most of their bosses have even turned off their phones, and so you can't even reach them. We understand that there will be a meeting later on today with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, but they haven't yet confirmed if GLOSAC will be there in that meeting. So this morning, this is the assessment of the situation. GLOSAC is on strike. There's no staff here in their buildings, in their offices. It's just 2 or 3 security personnel here guarding the place.
We can now listen to the Executive Secretary for the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah, who says it was unfortunate for CLOCSAG to refuse to turn up for that particular meeting in which Sutisoa referred to there to help resolve their own issues.
It's an unfortunate one because seriously, you have a problem and you have reported to the commission that the commission intervenes. We wrote to the other party with whom you are contending. They have given their indication and said that, okay, we are ready to come and settle the case. So why would the one at whose instance this meeting is being called decide that I'm not coming? we will give them, we are inviting them again to appear. You see, they sent a letter to the commission 3 days ago, which was suggestive that they might not attend. And that is, they have written to the commission through their lawyers, Gomda and Associates, challenging the composition of the commission, that the commission is not properly constituted. And their grounds are that they have caused a search, an official search, at the Registrar General's Department as to whether or not there are any bodies, such as organized labor, registered with the Registrar General's Department or Employers Association. And
he reviewed the commission will direct Clocksack to call off the strike because it is not duly constituted.
In any case, as a commission, we are not part of the whatever they are doing there. But whatever development that has happened there, that has occasioned the wrath of Clocksack to threaten and to proceed on strike, is what the commission is interested and we want to have it settled. So we invited them today to have it settled. We heard on air that they were considering whether to come or not. But since there was no official correspondence to us, we have come. The meeting was scheduled for 2 o'clock. The Deputy Minister of Employment, Dr. Kofi, was here. The technical advisor to the Minister, Honorable Bride Rekubrobe, was here. The head of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Engineer Benata, was here. Assistant Director at the Ministry, Mr. Siedu, was here. And then we have a representative, Mr. Mauli, also a director at the Ministry of Finance Compensation Unit, was also here. Unfortunately, Clocksack did not attend. We wrote to them formally.
A resident of Baniakrom near Mankranso in the Ahafono Southwest District of the Ashanti region in the state of fear as 3 people are shot dead by a suspected fetish priest. The incident leading to Tuesday's shooting remains unclear, but this has put fear in the people of the community as the police are yet to arrest the suspect. According to residents, they fear going to farm for fear of being attacked by the suspect. Here is a report by Clinton Yeboah.
A suspect in the shooting incident, Usman Majid, is yet to be apprehended, according to the police. He is alleged to have gunned down 3 individuals at Tepabania Krum near Mankranso in the Ashanti region. Community folks claim Usman shot the 3 people in self-defense, alleging the 3 were part of a gang seeking to attack him. The incident has plunged the community into shock and fear. He is not an actual chief priest. He is even a robber, yet he does these things without punishment. The police here also look on. He took his rowdiness to Jakubu and engaged in brutalities. The 4th person has died this morning. Our children are in panic because of Usman, because this gun is still in his possession. Some of us are not coming to school, and teachers are not even aware why we are not coming. I even have to stop my wife from engaging in activities around the area. The police have urged calm in the community as they commence an investigation into the incident. But the assembly member of the Bani Krum electoral area, Kingsley Asare, is seeking intensified security in the area.
Because I am not armed and I don't have the right to maybe counter any person with guns or cutlasses. So I will still plead with the district commander, the regional commander who was here yesterday, and the IGP as well. So that at least 1 or 2 uniformed men should come down.
Now, after many years of attempts, Sewa Nyako Senior High School in the Ashanti region is finally making their first appearance at the national stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. The all-female school, named after one of the Ashanti Queen mothers, suffered a series of failures in the competition. But students and old girls of the school can now heave a sigh of relief and boast of their historic accomplishment of qualifying to the national championship. Emmanuel Bright Kweko reports from Kumasi.
Oh my God! And if you see this excitement from the girls from Sewa Nyako, it is because they are going to the national stage for the very first time. They have for many years wanted this, and now they have qualified. And you see, it's all excitement for them. Well, please come around. I can see you holding something. You've written Sewa Beko.
We are moving to Accra. Yeah, the Frobas. Charlie, it's not easy. It's not easy. Everybody look down on us.
Hello. And do you know something? We have Teresa, Sandra, and Blay, aka the Game Changer. Watch out for the best from Sewa Nyako girls in your house.
Before you go, so interestingly, whilst you girls are going, your city rivals, Kumasi Wesley girls and Kumasi girls, are not going. What message do you have for them?
Oh, so sorry you couldn't make it. But we know that God, specifically our sisters are part, right?
Yes.
Ose KG. Yes. But then we have to do it for you guys. So watch out for us. We'll see you there.
Now, even going into the contest, it won't be easy. You have the likes of Prepper College.
We have God.
The thing is, all things are possible.
Yeah. Our foundation is God. Our beginning is God. Our middle is God. Our ending is God. That is our secret. Full stop.
A big thank you to our teacher, called the boy.
Apparently, the girls are really grateful to you for taking them to the nationals. How do you feel?
I can't even explain how I feel. I thank God for how far he has brought us. I would say, glory be to God. Glory be to God.
Now you're coming into the nationals. What preparations are you putting in?
This is what I was going to say. I was once a contestant for my school. And I took my school to the national for the first time. So I know the gimmicks and everything in this one. So you know what you're going to do.
Which school? Which school?
Tapa Senior High. I took them to the national for the first time. So I know the gimmicks and everything you're going to do here. So you know what you're going to do.
So what should we expect from you?
Nothing much, but you know what you're going to do.
And so that's how excited the students from Sewa Nyako SHS. This is how they feel qualifying to the national stage of the National Science and Math Quiz. They are so excited. And as you saw on their placards or what they've written down, they say Sewa Bekobi. And indeed, they are going to the national stage for the very first time. Reporting from here at the KNUS Auditorium, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweko.
Welcome back, and let's welcome the queen of showbiz in Ghana, Becky Bex, is here with all the latest gist that you need. Hi, Becky, how are you?
Hello to you, Brace. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Well, Brace,
I'm only sad for one thing.
Why?
You know why? The chef.
Well, because it turns out that Chef Smith isn't officially amazing after all, because Guinness World Records has responded to claims by him that he is the new record holder for the longest cooking marathon by an individual. This comes after Chef Smith had announced to the media at a press conference held at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel on Tuesday, July 2, 2024, that he is the new cookathon record holder, adducing as proof a certificate. The inscription on his certificate reads, quote, the longest cooking marathon, quote, individual in 802 hours, 25 minutes, and was achieved by Ebenezer Smith, Ghanaian, in Spintex, Accra, Ghana, from the 1st of February to 6th of March, 2024. However, in a response or in a reply by an email sent by the Joya Firm's Kwame Dazie, PR executive of Guinness World Records, Alina, indicated that Chef Smith's assertion is false. This inquiry was necessitated by doubts about the authenticity of Chef Smith's certificate and the unavailability of posts by the Guinness World Records confirming his supposed feat. Quote, no, this is not true. He does not hold the GWR title, and that is not our certificate. The current and true holder is the longest cooking marathon individual in 119 hours, 57 minutes, and 16 seconds, and was achieved by one Alan Fisher. Well, so we got fooled.
Yeah.
Everybody got fooled.
And I'm sad.
But I think that we can all move on. Brace, what do you make of this whole thing? We were excited when the news came in. Everybody was excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my own doubts, but obviously he had a press conference, so we have to talk about it. What do you make of, the whole...
I mean, I still cannot fathom what would push him to do what he did, really. Why someone who had goodwill for what he did, with or without a certificate, we were glad and happy for him for what he did, would come and tell us that he has achieved that record when, in fact, he had not. I mean, I still cannot believe anybody will go to that extent. Maybe we would have to have a sit down for him to tell us why,
Well, I hope that sit down is soon, before he goes to prison. But let's put the spotlight on the Team Move band, Brace. I had a conversation with them, with their leader, and they've been telling us all about, how they began the whole Team Move band, which apparently was named after Kofi Kenyatta. There's a lot more in this report. Ending our news for this evening, Brace. Please remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening, and tomorrow morning when you wake up from bed, with either Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection, because with Pepsodent, every smile
matters. Well, thank you for being a part of us. There's more news on myjoyonline.com.
All the time.
Emma Davis comes up next with Prime Business. Thanks for being a part of us.
We're grateful for your time.